Okay, so here's my attempt to answer Fred Big Star 1000's 90s thread. And I just want to explain to you right away that this was extremely difficult for a number of reasons. Um, when I look back on the 90s, there's quite a bit of it that's a blur. I mean, there are a lot of personal things that I remember. But when it comes to the music, um, I really could not. All I can do is show you. This is just one record won't do it, and so I'm gonna show a couple for a couple of the years. Sorry, Fred. And the other thing is, I've been racking my brain because these records weren't the best because I don't remember. So let's start with 1990. And the other thing was, interestingly, as I was trying to do this and looking at records, I was really surprised at how many dates was that long ago. You know, like things I thought maybe were 90s were actually in the 80s. Some things that I thought were in the 90s actually didn't happen until the 2000s. So this is the best I could do, bro. Oh, and just right quick to piggyback on my last video, I went through those singles right quick. Second Funk, yeah, I'm gonna be sending you something. That's just the way it is, folks. You know, there's no obligation, but it's just a natural thing that when someone sends you something, you want to send them something in return. But the one that hit me real good right away was Obligado by Brother Jack McDuff. Sweet. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you. Okay, so let's get to the thread. So for 1990, there are some repetition. There are records I've shown before because I love them so much. And so the record that stood out to show for 1990 is The House of Love. This doesn't mean that I think it was the best album, but this definitely represents that at that time, English guitar rock was high on my playlist. At the time, I was listening to a lot of House of Love, Catherine Wheel, Julian Cope, and then I lose it there. You know what I'm saying? Those come to okay, stuff like that. House of Love, just love this album, every single song. So that was only one for 1990. I have to show CDs too because I don't have vinyl for everything. 1991, I have two. I'll show the vinyl first because you all know this one. The second one you might not know as well, and I want to talk about it because I wish it were known. 1991, for me, obviously, no-brainer, Loveless, My Bloody Valentine. Good God Almighty. When they let this loose on my ear brain, I was changed. Soon, couldn't play it enough. So that's definitely one album that I would say was high on the list for 1991 for me. But also for me personally, I can say this was my album of 1991. I got one year, and that's Heartbeat by Ryuichi Sakamoto. People, I'm telling you, if you don't know Sakamoto or if you heard him in the wrong context, you're missing it. This man is a bad MF. Sakamoto is one of the finest musicians in the frickin' world. And Epilogue, well, that's one of the songs on here. Heartbeat is killer. I have two copies, two versions of it. The Japanese, this is the Japanese CD. It came out in America with a slightly different track listing. This album is monster. There's a couple songs on here that are just all-time favorites. Sayonara, High Tide, Nuage. I don't even have to look at the titles. This album is so badass. Now, this is also intriguing because this is the Japanese booklet, and you can't read it. You can't open it because this is how it comes. And it's sealed. It's taped. It's pasted together. And you know, I'm able to read the American to get the credits, but I found that to be a rather intriguing packaging. Man, I'd love to see this on a 12-inch disc. Sakamoto is just someone, and then as a matter of fact, while trying to get this together, I watched his Sweet Revenge DVD last night for the first time in ages. Wow. Sakamoto is, this music has so much class, so much intelligence, so much heart. I think that's why it's easy for you people to miss it. I think this music is a cut above. I'm just gonna say it. I really think so. I think Sakamoto is one of those artists that is not commonplace. You know, this is not a put down to the common man, but this is not for a person. You got to have something to get to this. Sakamoto, I could go on and on about how fantastic this artist is and how much I love this album. Okay, so I got that one for Album of the Year. Let's go to 1992. 1992, I noticed that a bunch of records, 92 was a hot year for me. One of the other albums that came to mind, I didn't pull it, was Pale Saints in Shreds. Just love that album. But for 92, it goes to Peter Gabriel, Us. This album was, again, thankfully this was still at the time when Peter Gabriel's music just transformed me. And when his new records came out, that would be what I was listening to for months. Because what he has for me is so strong and connects so intensely. So Us did it. And I wore my CD out. And I haven't shown my Peter Gabriel CDs yet. I have several CD singles with remixes from this. And like those quite a bit. So 92 is Peter Gabriel with Us. 1993, once again, I have to show two recordings, just trying to touch upon where I was at, because it's hard. One doesn't do it. So one I've shown before, which is Catherine Wheel Chrome. And I wanted to say this about this band. In the 90s, for me, it wasn't Radiohead. I thought Radiohead were shit compared to this band, including the Bends. And I still say that at that time, Radiohead can't touch Catherine Wheel, in my opinion. And I value my opinion. This is a bad motherfucking album, people. And their first album, Ferment. Damn. And then they topped it. They went on to Happy Days, but they went even further and topped all these albums with, I just had it on the tip of my tongue, Adam and Eve. Whew. So Chrome is one album for 93? And the album definitely that is in the top of whatever I was listening to that year was Hiromi Hosono's Medicine compilation. Once again, the Japanese were tripping my trigger, people. Musically, spiritually, in a lot of ways. It was the year after this that I got to go to Japan. This, I got the disc signed. This is a Japanese import. I got the disc signed by Laraji. You folks that like Eno should be familiar with the name Laraji because he made one of the ambient series albums. Day of Radiance, I believe is the name of his. But Hosono hired him to play on this album. And back in 1990 or 91, as a member of the Healing Arts Council, I helped to sponsor Laraji playing in a concert in Omaha. And so I got him to sign this, and I actually had him as a guest at my house. He was here in this room. We jammed in this room. I sent a recording of it to Astral Traveler as part of a thanking him for what he did for me. This album is incredible. Once again, people, it's not rock and roll. It's not light entertainment. this'll do something good for you if you just go there. That's 1993. Pardon my emphaticness. I think sometimes people can take it wrong as I'm being either angry or impatient. I'm being emphatic, trying to tell you how much this means to me and how important I think it is. 94, I chose an album that wasn't my favorite, but the band meant a lot to me in the 90s. And this album came out that year, so I use it. Toward the Within by Dead Can Dance. This is another one of those bands that when their albums would come out, Spleen and Ideal, Within the Realm of a Dying Sun, I couldn't get them off of my players. They became the soundtrack of my life for weeks because the music is medicine and food, and I learn from it, and it helps me grow, and it helps me with my depression, and it helps me with my sadness and my anger. Dead Can Dance, so special, so wonderful, so above and beyond entertainment. You know, this music is about what music can be and what art can be. How it can just, it makes life, art and music make life worth living. Let's keep going. 95. So 95, I chose a CD I showed recently because in the 90s, these guys' music meant so much to me. And that's Steve Jansen and Richard Barbieri. Formerly of the band Japan, Richard Barbieri is in the band Porcupine Tree. Steve Jansen is David Sylvian's brother. They changed their names. Their real last name is Batt. B-A-T-T, like Mike Batt or Bot. Like I said, it's not the entire album, but about 4 cuts on here are in some of the best, like on the same level for me as Benny Maupin's Jewel in the Lotus. Some of the best pieces of music for me ever. Stone to Flesh, Steve Jansen. So, Jen, you notice what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about no Pavement or no Pearl Jam or no Red Hot Chili Peppers or even Incubus, Korn. I was hearing that music, but that music meant absolutely jack shit to me at that time, okay? No offense. I'm just, I like to just really be emphatic. That music, I thought was crap. It's all right now, in retrospect, Matter of fact, I remember being able to go to a Pavement show before they broke up. And I actually drove down to the hall and listened outside. And I said, I ain't paying for that. Don't take it personally, anyone, okay? I'm telling you, just telling you my story. That was 1995. 1996, I have to show another CD because I can't find can't find the record. Once again, though, it's the Japanese. It's Hiromi Hosono. I'm telling you, those guys loom large in what's important to me personally musically. And you can't see anything here. It's a very strange graphic. This is Hiromi Hosono's NDE CD. It's his near-death experience. And when it comes to electronic, ambient, moving the game ahead by quantum leaps, doing stuff nobody else is doing, leading the pack, Mr. Hosono has it on this album in spades. NDE, Hiromi Hosono. And I'm going to pause. I'm just going to... Jeff, I'm right in the middle of making a video. I'll call you right back. Right back. Okay, that's Jeff Clayman calling me from Colorado. I just played on his session. He's probably calling me to know what I think. All right, let's keep going. 1997, Bjork, Homogenic. This album just knocked me out. Love this album. Bjork is so fantastic. I bought quite a few of the singles and the DVD videos from this. Unravel, Bachelorette, Alarm Call, Bjork. That's for 1997, Homogenic. Untouchable. The lady is just untouchable. 1998, this album is my album of the year for 98 because I can't think of what else was out, but this album smashed my head. Mezzanine, Massive Attack. And I blew it when I was seeing it in the shops. I didn't pick it up on vinyl, and I know I'll pay an arm and a leg now to get it on vinyl. This album is killer. I just, I'm kind of feeling slightly manic talking about this stuff because it's just so damn good. From the very beginning, You Are My Angel with Horace Andy, going into Teardrop. Are you kidding me? This album is so badass. The Black Milk, I believe, I'm seeing the title. Elizabeth Fraser from Cocteau Twins singing on here. This is just a monster album. Monster. So glad that the original Massive Attack came to America at the end of '98, I believe it was. And I traveled up to Minneapolis to see him. So glad I did. Woo! Saw this live. Wowzers. Okay, I think I have another one for '98, do I? Yeah. This is definitely one of the albums of the year for '98 as well. Mark Hollis. I just found out that this apparently is on vinyl. Got it. As quiet as it is, the way to listen to this is on CD because it's so quiet. But I still would like to have it on vinyl. This is a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece. So I guess part of what's going on here is, since I'm answering this thread by talking about some of my music that I love from that period, I'm excited about it because this music means so much to me. This is a masterpiece. Mark Hollis's first and I think only solo album from Talk Talk. This is a masterpiece. This is so subtly, eloquently beautiful and poignant. 1999. 2 albums for '99 because I couldn't choose one. These albums are more representative than actually being the best records, okay? But Stereolab, very important band to me in the 90s still, but the 90s. Got to see him twice, got to meet Letitia Sadier, got to talk to her about Noy and Faust. It was so cool to see the look on her face when I brought up Noy. And she tried to play it off, but she kind of raised an eyebrow and looked at me sideways like, "Hey, what's this black fella doing talking to me, chatting me up about Noy?" She didn't say that, but it was all over her face. I loved it. It was such a fantastic moment. Yeah, those are the moments that I live for, just this crazy, stupid world, the way that people are so shallow and can't see past your skin color and think the things that they think about us, Man, I'm a music connoisseur. So this is one for 1990. Cobra Phases group Play Voltage in the Milky Night. Love this album. But I had to show one more because these guys were really starting to come up on my radar. And that's Porcupine Tree. Stupid Dream came out in 1999. And they're really starting to hit their stride about this time, in my opinion. The earlier stuff is patchy. It's mostly Steven Wilson doing things by himself and having folks come in and help out. And so those early Porcupine Tree records are all over the place. This is where it really starts to become a band, Porcupine Tree. And for those of you that are wanting to get into Porcupine Tree, this is a great place to start. This is not an original, this is a reissue. Very happy to have it. So there you have it. And my video is long, so it's going to take forever to upload. The thing I don't like about my videos uploading is that I've noticed that if I try to use my computer while the video is uploading, the upload crashes. And so I have to wait, which frustrates me. So anyway, you know that I give you way too much information, and that's just, sorry, I ain't going to change. That's me. That's Dereck. Thanks, Fred, for asking the question. On the flip side,